Here's how you know a relationship is a good relationship for you. It makes you feel better about yourself, not worse. It makes you feel more loved. So if you are not getting those things, it's a relationship you can't be in.
Here is today's case.
My husband is irresponsible. He does not pay bills, and he doesn't even work.
Nyfesha says I has an addiction, but it's just a hobby, something I like to do.
He needs to stop smoking weed.
Things don't change today. I'm through.
If he doesn't change, I'm out of this relationship.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Miller versus Kenady.
Thank you, Juan. Nyfesha Miller,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are here in divorce court today. You have brought your husband, Michael Kenady.
Yes, Your Honor.
You said that you are tired of the relationship and the marriage and you have had enough. And
Yes,
you
I
want
have.
to talk about some of these issues in divorce court today. And sir, you said that your wife is overreacting
Yes,
to the allegations being made against you and you believe this marriage can work.
I do believe it can.
Let's start with you, ma'am.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. My husband is irresponsible. I want this marriage to be over with. He does not work. He has not worked. He's had a lot of dead-end jobs, and he has not paid bills. And as a result, I am over it, completely over it.
And how long have the two of you been married?
Unfortunately, we've been married for a total of 6 years. However, we've been separated 6 months now.
Separated for 6 months.
Yes.
And what do you have to say, Mr. Kenady?
Well, what I have to say, Your Honor, is that I am not what she says. I am very responsible. It's just that I don't like to work a job. You know what I'm saying? I like to be my own boss. I don't fit in a 9-to-5 job, and she can't handle that. Sometimes I try different things and I have dreams, and if Nyfesha was just believing me more, I believe I can achieve more, but she takes all of my motivation away, but that it just drives me nuts.
I read that the two of you are spiritually married.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean exactly?
What it means is, for me, is that I had them to take out the death do you part, obviously, because you never know what things, and I believe, you know, I have a strong belief in God, and I don't want to make any vows that I can't keep. So I always kind of sensed that Nyfesha might have a problem, so if it ever came down to this, that I can leave with a good conscience.
Oh, so going into it, you
Right.
said just in case it doesn't work
Just in
out,
case
I'm not going to say this part of the vows.
We're not going to say this part of the vows to death do we part. Right.
And why did you agree to that, Miss Miller?
I, was smitten by his charm.
Did he explain this to you?
He did. He wanted it to be a private ceremony. However, I did find out later that it was probably because I was in hiding. He was hiding me from the emotional tie he still had to his ex.
The whole breakdown, everything that she claims that's wrong with me, happened because she cheated on me in the first year of our marriage. And I haven't been right ever since.
He's not lying about
That's
that.
right. She had an affair with one of her coworkers at the job. I actually came up to the job and I saw them interacting. Then dude looking at me like he wanted to fight me. I was like, why is he looking at me like that? So I went home. I wanted to trust her. I said, I don't believe that. So you know what? I decided to confront her. I said, hey, you and dude, what's going on with you and dude? And you know what? She told me right in my face they were having an affair.
Now, why did you have an affair at your first year of marriage? What happened?
I'm not proud of my actions, and so I will say to that, I apologize. He knows this. We had a discussion about it. It wasn't something that I looked for. I just needed to feel something different, so we went out for drinks, and one thing led to another. It was a one-time thing. I told him the truth about it. And so, again, there's no excuse, but for me, I just felt so, I think early on, I kind of started to sense that this man wasn't right.
And so what happens? You find out that she slept with someone else at one time.
Yes.
And the two of you moved past it, but you said the breaking point for you in the relationship is you think he cheated just in a retaliation for that, and that was recent?
Yes, that was recent. That was another thing. That was probably the tip of the iceberg for us.
When was that?
This happened actually this year. I found out that he had an affair with, or he was still entertaining
Your Honor, that's not the
the
case.
ex-girlfriend.
Oh, so the ex that you were concerned about the
Yes.
first year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Your
And
Honor,
that's really that was what blew this whole, in the end, on top of everything else, that was the tip of the iceberg.
Why do you said that you did retaliate and cheat, but it's been so many years. Why now?
No, Your Honor, it wasn't a retaliation.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think we really gotten past the first affair that we had. I tried to continue to trust her, and I tried to build a relationship. We did get counseling, but I really never really gotten past it, and we never really got to base one as what we were when we first met. So this was a particular night. I wasn't feeling my best. We had just had an argument. I had to go over and take care of something. When I came in the house, and it just happened. But it wasn't because I was trying to be revengeful. It was just in the moment.
So the two of you have had moments of weakness, at least one moment of weakness, but you said you believe it's been in retaliation, but it's been so many years.
Absolutely. This
Exactly.
it had to be revenge, Your
So
Honor.
many years. And this is the only time.
There was an emotional
It was
tie
just
to
one
that
time.
situation. There's an emotional tie. I didn't
Okay.
have an emotional tie.
So well, let's unpack it a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've been together for a number of years. You
Yes.
say you don't like to work a job. You like to be your own boss.
Yes.
How has that been working out for you financially?
Well, I mean, I've been trying different things. I had a janitorial business, but you know, when the COVID thing happened, then we couldn't work like we want to, you know. So now I'm pursuing another career. You know, she knows I like to do music, and I sing a little bit. So I'm out there trying to work on something where I can put out something where I can make some money for both of us, but she won't believe in it.
Your Honor, I've been dealing with this same story for 5 years, and it's inconsistent. So everything that he's saying is
No, I really am talented, Your Honor. I really can sing. She just don't believe it. She don't believe it's going to work.
You're just discovering this at 50 years old that you want to pursue a music career?
Yes, I can make it.
I mean, it's never too late for people to have a dream.
No,
and I'm
I
not
don't
here
think
to
it is.
squash anybody's dream, but I'm just saying, you know, in terms of having stability right now
Right.
in the home and for your child. Because at this
Right.
point, you have all of these responsibilities, right? There's nothing wrong with pursuing things
That's
on the
right.
side while you're bringing in a steady income.
That's right.
our mortgage was 4 months behind.
Well, I mean, I was paying other bills that we had got behind.
No other bill matters as much as the house that you live in with you, your wife, and your child. You fall behind because you've mismanaged money and you don't tell your wife for 4 months? So now, was the janitorial business making money?
Yes, it was making money, but not enough for her, of course.
Well, I am the primary breadwinner of the house. I will say that. So I have been that. However, I have supported his self-employment. He worked for the schools.
Great.
However, when the pandemic transpired, unfortunately, it did create a rift. He didn't have the jobs any longer because the school shut down.
Well, that's not his fault.
Well, I understand that. However, there was no backup plan. So when he talks about music, which he was trying
Well,
to get...
singing is his backup plan.
Yes, that is my backup.
That-
Have you heard him sing?
Your Honor, I've heard him sing, but it's not there's no room for that right now as far as like trying to support a dream on top of supporting the dream of his self-employment as well.
Your Honor, I have a band that we go and we sing, we play in clubs, we do different things. I make a little money. It's taking off. Now that the pandemic and everything is starting to lift, we're starting to get a little gig.
How many gigs have you done?
Well, since the pandemic, we did about 3 gigs.
But how much have you made from that?
I mean,
be honest about that, please. Be honest about how much you're not making. That's what.
Well, it depends.
That's what the judge.
How much have
depends
you
on the
made per gig?
Well, we did a couple of weddings, and those come out to be like $500. But
You
know,
made $500?
Yeah, I made $500, but
Per
then,
gig. So that's $1,500 over the course of the last 6 months?
well, not quite $1,500, Your Honor. Maybe 2 weddings, and then we had a couple of things where we made $100 here and there, but it's starting to pick up.
So it's even less than $1,500.
yeah, it's a little, just maybe a little less.
He didn't clarify it though because they are splitting that money. So if he's making $500, that's split between him and the other musicians.
How many members are in your band?
It's about 5 of us.
And is it true that the $500 was split among the 5 of you?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, ma'am.
So it was $100. So you've made $300 on these 3 gigs.
Yes,
over the
ma'am, but
course
we
of
get
6
tips.
months.
We have a tip bucket, and a lot of tips makes up. So I would average it out to be more like $200 or $300.
But if I can just add to, Your Honor, in addition to not paying bills, our mortgage was 4 months behind. I didn't tell you that, but he didn't mention that as well, but that's another huge part of our problem.
Why was he
Payment.
responsible for the mortgage if you say he hasn't been working?
Well,
for so
because that
long?
was the least, I was taking care of everything else. Our mortgage is only $1,200 a month.
Where was he going to get $1,200 a month if he's only making $300 a month every 6 months with his band?
Well, this is before the pandemic too. So before that, he was making maybe about close to $3,000 a month when he was consistent. So that was the one thing we agreed on.
What was he spending the mortgage money on?
That's what I have yet to learn.
Sir?
He claims this is when I discovered he had a problem, obviously.
No, Your Honor. Nyfesha has a very high expense account. We go out to dinner, we go to
Sir, I'm
expensive
talking about the
restaurants.
mortgage. That's you're talking about the house that you live in. This is not, we're not talking about leisure spending or anything like that.
Yeah.
Probably the most important bill the two of you have, the mortgage.
Right,
Why
well-
did you fall 4 months behind?
Well, at some point we had, I had mismanaged the money. I will admit, I did mismanage the money. I didn't mean to get 4 months behind. It just kept building up. I got behind.
What were you doing with the money?
Well, I mean, I was paying other bills that we had got behind, different things
Okay,
like that.
so no other bill matters as much as the house that you live in with you, your wife, and your child. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you fall behind because you've mismanaged money and you don't tell your wife for 4 months?
Thought I could delay the mortgage for a little while and then catch up later. but
How did you
didn't
find
happen.
out that it was 4 months behind?
Because I had to take on the responsibility when his job, of course, went under. So as a result, I took on that responsibility in addition. And so now he's responsible for just our car note.
And
Our
she
car
would have
note was
never
only-
found out if I hadn't
Can I
never
speak?
lost it.
Can I speak, please? So this man here, soon-to-be ex-husband, he asked me for $800. He says, I have an opportunity to help us kind of get out of this bind that we're in.
You put in 800, you'll get 8,000 back in 30 days. You put in 900, you get 9,000 back.
Yes.
You put in 1,000, you get 10,000 back. Why didn't you just go for the cool 10 grand? If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content.
He ended up taking on our car note. We share a car. My car note was only a minimum of $250 a month. I says, well, you can just take on that responsibility. Lo and behold, Your Honor, and that's this year, after I had to take on the mortgage, and discovered that he wasn't paying it, he's now taking on, at least I thought, our car note, a minimum of $250. Your Honor, he had my vehicle repossessed because he wasn't even paying
Your Honor,
that.
that's not my fault. That's more the dealership's
Was
fault.
not paying the car note,
No, it was more the dealership's
$250.
fault because we had an understanding that they would not repossess the car till after 4 months. It was only 3 months that I was behind, and then then they came and repossessed the car.
But you weren't even supposed to be behind 3 months, am I
Well,
correct?
I understand I wouldn't.
The dealership was 1 month too early.
Yeah, 1
and
month
that's
too
why
early.
The car was repossessed.
There was 1 month too early. She would have never known. I would have called up. She would have never even known.
But you said that he has made some investments, in his entrepreneurial spirit.
So this man here, soon-to-be ex-husband, he asked me for $800. He says, I have an opportunity to help us kind of get out of this bind that we're in financially and maybe get some of the money that I owe you back or just pay on some bills. $800 for $8,000.
That was going to be the return on the
That
investment.
was going to be the return on
In
the
how much
investment.
time?
4 weeks, you put in $800. By the 4th week, you're going to get $8,000. Everyone's getting this money. This is what he's...
Who told you this, sir?
I had a friend of mine that I really believed in. I seen it work for him, and I brought it to Nyfesha, so it's not like she didn't know.
What did you say?
I said to her, listen, I know I got behind on things, and I think this is a good way that we can try to come up. So
And how were you going to make it back? What was the plan?
The plan was to take the $800, put it into the board, and as people give, then we would get a return in a month of $8,000. I seen it happen for other people. It happened for my friend. I really believed in him, but he just let me down. The whole thing stalled out.
You did not get $8,000
No,
at
we
the
didn't
end
get
of
the
30 days?
$8,000 back. We
I
lost.
am shocked and appalled that this did not. You saw this on social media.
Yes,
I'm looking at the chart.
Yes.
You put in 800, you'll get 8,000 back in 30 days. You put in 900, you get 9,000 back.
Yes.
You put in 1,000, you get 10,000 back. Why didn't you just go for the cool 10 grand?
Well, I had to get the money from her.
If they worked, everyone would be doing them.
I know now.
And that's exactly how they get you, because someone says it worked for me, this is what I did. It is all a part of the scheme.
Yeah.
Ms. Miller, you said
Yes,
that there's also an issue with Mr. Kenady's weed habit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
Upon us dating, I did know that he smoked marijuana recreationally. However, I didn't know that it was a problem until I moved in with him and we got married, to the point of doing it so much that I discovered that he has an outfit that he wears. He keeps it in the garage, it's in a plastic bag, and it's an outfit that he actually wears.
Well, how often do you say he's smoking?
I would say he's smoking at least if there's 7 days a week, he's probably smoking about 6 days of the week.
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Kennedy, do you have a problem?
No, I don't have a problem, Your Honor. Marijuana
6
is something that I like to do like anybody like to do. Somebody might like to go play golf. Somebody likes swimming. Hey, my thing is smoking weed. I'm not out here in the streets or sport the fact that I smoke weed. I smoke weed, and the reason why I have special clothes is because I don't want my regular clothes to smell like weed. So when I smoke weed, I put on my outfit that I like to put on and do what I like to do.
Your Honor, it's a problem when you're putting money into weed, which is not recreational. It's a problem if you're doing it every day, almost every day of the week, and then on top of that, you're not paying bills.
You should appreciate
So where does the
I'm
money
way
come
more
from?
loving.
Where does the money come from?
Obviously, his gig money, when he works and does his musician or music gigs now, he spends that little money that he makes on his weed habit.
That's a problem, Mr. Kennedy. If people don't have money to pay bills, that means they have to cut back on their recreational activity because they can't afford to continue it until they can
But
pay their
that's
bills.
what the wife is supposed to do, is help you.
Your Honor,
so
can I just-
whenever she knows.
Well, it's a partnership, right?
Well, it's a
Marriage is a partnership.
Exactly.
So let me ask you something. What did you like about him when you met him?
He was obviously, well, not obviously now, but he was charming. I was coming out of a relationship and met him in church, and he was just a really nice guy.
Was he singing in the choir?
Background, he was never a lead. I never heard him as a lead.
You can't even give him credit for that, Miss Miller.
He was in the choir, but I think anyone can sing in the choir.
Well, as long as, okay.
No, I can sing better than she gives me credit for, Your Honor. I'm sure of that.
As long as he has.
Mr. Miller, I was about to give you 20 seconds, but I think that would be 20 seconds of my life I'd want back.
No,
So I'm not gonna.
Trust me, it won't.
So here we are. Is the marriage over for you?
Absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt. I'm over it.
And Mr. Kennedy has said that he wants to continue to try to save the relationship. Does that matter to you?
No, it does not, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, what do you have to say about that, sir?
Well, Your Honor, if that's what she agrees to, then I have no choice but to let go. Frankly, it might be a benefit because I wouldn't have to deal with her.
Well, it sounds like your wife has been pretty supportive over the last several years of your marriage, sir.
It's very critical, very.
So why would you want to work it out then?
Huh?
So why would you want to work it out?
I think we could work it out. I think we can make it happen. Still.
So you can leech on me?
If you just believe
So you
in
can
me.
leech.
No, leech on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are you bringing to the table?
Bring it to the table. That's not
bringing
what
nothing.
you was saying
Okay,
the
so
last 6 years.
You're bringing nothing.
All right,
Here's
enough.
where we are. The two of you have a 5-year-old. You've decided now to go your separate ways in the marriage. The most important thing for you to do is to be able to co-parent your child successfully. What you don't want to do is take out the frustrations that you have with each other on your child. A truly innocent party. And the most beautiful thing that you were able to create out of the marriage is your child.
Yes.
So always keep that in mind, and always remember, children know what's going on and they will remember. The number one thing you can do is to show respect for each other in front of your son as you move forward. And I wish the two of you the best of luck.
Thank you. Judge Faith's verdict was on point. It was very well appointed, and I am glad that this is over and done with. I do agree that we have to work cohesively to co-parent, and I'm ready to take on that role.
What I thought of Judge Faith's verdict is I agree with it. I think she can clearly see that Nyfesha is someone that is not suitable for me and that I need to be put out of my misery. You know what? I'm glad this is over with.
Yeah, I'm more than happy.
What a day. What
It is over.
a day. Man,
It is over.
have a good life.